Hi, Gene with today's thought, and today's thought probably be a short one, and maybe the next one too, because I'm just about at the end of fulfilling my continuing education requirement for my New York State real estate broker's license, and I may do a thought on that, by the way, because there's been a change in the continuing education, but that's for another day, another thought. But if you follow this administration at all, then you've heard a lot of stupid things come out of it. And I just want to share one statement that is so stupid that I just have to comment on it. So here's the headline. Let me just put it right up, get right to it. Biden administration dismisses non-citizen voting because it's already illegal, just like shoplifting and drunk driving. And there's actually a more obvious example that I'm going to give you in a second, but you have to know that the Democrat-run cities are fighting tooth and nail to prevent any verification of a voter's citizenship or even identity. Don't even have to show ID. That's what they want. And people are arguing against that. And not Kamala Harris, Karine Jean-Pierre, she gets questions about it. And you just heard the dumbest one that I've heard. They've said it a couple of times that you don't need laws against or you don't need to verify that people are citizens and that they are who they say they are, because lying on those two things, misleading, it's illegal. As the article headline says, shoplifting and drunk driving, they're illegal too, but that kind of misses the point. So here's a real point that I would make, that why do banks have vaults? Why do they keep their money, spend all this money and take up the space to make these very large, very heavy, very secure, very expensive vaults to keep the money in? Because, of course, everybody knows robbing banks is illegal. Well, it should be obvious to anybody who's not an idiot or in the Biden administration or both. They're not mutually exclusive. Obviously, they're not mutually exclusive. But you have to. The idea is that you still have to take a preventive measure. This is a mindset. I guess I am going to go on for another minute, because this is a mindset of liberals. The exact same thing happens with gun control laws, that, we have to pass a law making possession of a certain gun, or just any gun, just make it illegal, and then everybody will be safe because there will be no guns, because owning guns will be illegal. Of course, bank robbers too, they carry weapons, but people who want to get a gun, a criminal is not going to obey a law. That should be obvious. And if you have a law against bank robbery, criminals are not going to not rob banks just because it's illegal, and say, it's illegal, we can't rob a bank, it's against the law. Of course they will, if you make it easy. If you want the example, in the headline they said shoplifting, but there's I would call it out and out robbery. But you've seen the videos, you've seen the photos of these flash mobs breaking into jewelry stores in blue cities, of course, blue cities like New York, and just breaking in, with crowbar, whatever, hammers, breaking all the glass display cases and taking all the jewelry and making off. Well, why? Why would they do that? Don't they know it's illegal? Of course they know it's illegal. So you have to do things to prevent it from happening. That it should be so obvious. As I said, it's really I don't want to belabor the point, because it is so obviously a dumb statement to make that it really needs no comment, except that why are they making this statement? And the reason, why would they say something so stupid? And what's even dumber than making this statement is expecting people to believe it. They want people who are not legally entitled to vote to vote. And I guess you can call the Republicans the law and order party, because they want law and order, but also because if Republicans want voter fair, integrity, and Democrats don't, then that should be equally obvious that these illegal voters, or the most illegal voters, are Democrats, or would vote for Democrats. So otherwise, they would be just as Democrats would be just as opposed to, they would support integrity, voter integrity, as much as Republicans do. And actually, an interesting thing to see. I guess I'll throw one more thing and end it in and add that in, because there is a continuing resolution for the budget that has to be passed by the end of the month, or the government will shut down. And conservative Republicans want, in the House, for sure, they want to attach something called the SAVE Act to that must-pass legislation. The SAVE Act would require verification of citizenship in federal elections, and it's already, I believe, passed the House as a standalone bill, but attach it to this bill. And Chuck Schumer, it did pass the House, and Chuck Schumer has been refusing to bring it up for a vote, the majority leader in the Senate, to bring it up for a vote in the Senate. Well, let's see what happens when it's attached to this legislation, and if Chuck Schumer refuses to bring it to the floor, because he doesn't want people, does not want assurance that that people who are voting, that voters are American citizens. Let's see how he finesses that, and the Democrats, his Democrat cronies in the Senate, because that measure has overwhelming, that's why Schumer won't bring it to a vote, I would assume, that has overwhelming, I read 80% support from the American people. So let him say why he's not going to even bring it to a vote, or why he would kill the budget resolution over that measure. It will be very interesting to see, and the other interesting thing to see will be what happens in the House, because Mike Johnson, it happened before when Republicans tried to attach something to must-pass legislation, especially on the budget, and the Speaker of the House has always caved. He's always caved, and some of the members are getting very frustrated with him, and they are demanding that he attach this to the legislation and stick to his guns, even if it means shutting down the government, and let the Democrats say, well, yes, we're shutting down the government because we don't want people to have to prove that they're American citizens, that they're legally entitled to vote. And that's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Comments always welcome below the video. Share the video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I'd love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.